You're in the Coordinator's Corner, brought to you by JCW's The Burger Boys. Saturday night at LaVell Edwards Stadium, it was BYU 24, Utah 21, as the Cougs improved to 7-0 on the season and 4-0 in the Big 12. With the result, the Cougs now 11th in the AP and 10th in the coaches' polls. This week, Cougars back out on the Big 12 road, visiting Iowa State for the first time in 51 years. Cougs haven't beaten the Cyclones yet, going 0-5 would be a great time for a first win in that series. Our second half hour of the show kicks off now as we say hello to BYU offensive coordinator and QB coach Aaron Roderick. Coach, good to see you back.
Good to be here.
Wow. When Utah was a power conference team and BYU was an independent, the Utes had a pretty nice run of runs, a pretty nice run of wins. But since BYU's been announced to the Big 12, BYU's now 3-0 against Utah. That may not be a coincidence. I think the playing field leveling is important in this thing. How do you see it?
Yeah, I was at Utah for 6 of those 9 wins, and I think there was a talent discrepancy, to be honest with you, in that era. And I think the conference affiliation versus independent made it tougher to recruit, and I think now what you're seeing is pretty evenly matched teams talent-wise on the field, and maybe even a little edge to us at times.
Yeah, I hope there will be an edge moving forward for sure. Every week, seemingly some kind of new experience or first for Bear Bachmeier. First Utah game for Bear this time. And coming into the game, BYU had never beaten Utah with a freshman starting quarterback till this year.
Yeah, he's. I can't say enough good things about Bear as a competitor, and he's not a normal freshman. So, I knew their game. I think they were counting on maybe the freshman quarterback making some mistakes that would turn the game in their favor. And at the end of the game, we had no turnovers and they have 2, and that was really the big difference.
And kind of at this point, you're almost running out of first. Like, he's kind of seen almost everything at this point.
He is playing more and more like a veteran every week.
Let's get into the game, and let's go to your second drive in a scoreless game. We're seeing more of Preston Rex lately, and you used him quickly in this one for a chunk play early in the game.
Yeah, Preston is explosive, and we need to get him more involved. That's one thing. He's doing good things for us, and then got a great block here from LJ out in front. But the best part about this play was how quickly Bear got through the read. Preston's the check down, and he went 1 to 2 to 3 in a hurry and got the ball delivered on time where LJ's in position to make the block and spring him. And so really good quarterback play there.
Yeah, and it's pretty much an all yak yards play, pass behind the line of scrimmage, and there goes Preston, a great block on the edge, as you mentioned, by LJ. A good-looking series, got you to a 4th and 1 at the Utah 32.
Yeah, unfortunately, the grass was a little wet.
It felt like he slipped out.
LJ's feet slipped out from under him, which is rare. He usually does not slip, and he usually has good pad level and good feet, and he, just
unlucky.
I think we blocked the play well enough to get a yard. It wasn't great, but 4th and 1s usually aren't. You just got to go get it, and usually LJ's pretty hard to stop for 1 yard, but
absolutely
he slipped, and unfortunate.
And your short down yardage downs have been really good this year, 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, we've been good on short yardage, and we're going to keep. If the book tells us to go on 4th, we're going to keep going because we're winning. We've won a lot of games. 18 of our last 20 games following what that book says, and once in a while it doesn't go your way, and in that case it doesn't. But
and kind of fluky the way the slip.
I thought we did some good things on that drive, and we moved the ball down the field at least, and it was a good start.
So he didn't move the sticks there, but he had a great game. It's hard to have 100-yard rushers against Utah. It just is. And it's hard to have 200-yard rushing games against Utah. And you did both those things on Saturday night.
Yeah, we did. And that was the goal. We were not going to abandon who we are just because they're tough against the run. We feel like we need to be a team that can run the ball no matter who we're playing. And so we were not going to abandon the run. I feel like they have such a good pass rush that if you get into a pass fest, that's where they get their hits on the quarterback. That's where the turnovers can happen. And so we stuck with the run game, and LJ, I feel like, really just got stronger as the game went on.
A balanced night throughout the night. Your third drive of the game started in the first quarter, but ended in the second quarter, and it got you into the end zone for the first time on the night. 6 plays, 81 yards, 3 minutes off the clock. We're going to see some of the key plays in your first touchdown drive of the night. Really well-run series. Yeah,
it was a good mix of run and pass. We had some play-action pass in there, and just started off with a triple option here.
And the hurdle.
Bear made a heck of a play. He's got the option to throw that ball or run it, and then LJ just kind of got us going here, just breaking some tackles. Our line was really physical, and then this play-action pass here to Chase was a big spark, and And then the touchdown pass to Chase was an RPO. He can hand it to LJ or take the one-on-one, and Bear, that was a perfect throw.
Perfect throw, right?
Perfect throw and catch, yeah.
So BYU scores first in this game. Under Kalani, BYU's now won 19 straight games when just scoring first. And the record's 50-9 when opening with the first score, including 28-5 at home. You're a pretty good front-running team, Coach.
That's an unbelievable.
Isn't it crazy?
I have no explanation for that, but
but you'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah, we definitely always want to start fast and score first, and so yeah, that's great.
The TD scoring drive also included the first of 2 Utah penalties on the night for delay of game for snap simulation. That's a clarified and emphasized rule this season. Yeah,
and it was good to see it called because we've had it in other games. People do it to us, and I think the officials still aren't really willing to stick their necks out there and call it sometimes. And so it's good to see it get called because it is, it's an unfair rule if they don't enforce it. Or it's an unfair advantage if they don't enforce the rule. And so it was good to see them do that.
The game got to 7-7 in the second quarter. You're about to go 3 and out late in the second, but a momentum-changing play occurs on a punt muff. This was pretty big.
Yeah, and I can feel for that kid fumbling that punt. That's a tough. Those things are tough to field sometimes.
You used to be in that spot.
Yes. In fact, I fumbled one in a 98 in Salt Lake. Anyway, but yeah, so huge play here. Getting that ball, we got some good field position and got really set us up.
You steal a possession, what it comes down to, particularly important since Utah could have ended the first half and started the second half with possession. Yeah,
that was a fortunate turn of events for us there.
The short field possession got you to a 1st and 10 from the 11 with 49 seconds to go. How did you want that ensuing sequence to go that does end up in getting points, which was essential?
I made a mistake on that. It's my fault. So we got to 4th and 1, and we had a play called, and they were in a defense that was going to stop the play. So we called timeout and went to a different 4th and 1 play. But we had our personnel grouping out there was a big personnel group, and we needed to get fast to a fast play and throw the ball, but we didn't have the right personnel in the game to do that. And so I should have had a better plan there to get to a faster pass play after the 4th and 1 conversion. Now the positive was we got 3 points and we left them with no time to answer. If we would have kicked the field goal on 4th and 1, they would have had close to a minute left with timeouts and a chance to answer. So it wasn't all negative. I wish I would have done a better job there getting us to a pass play after the 4th and 1 conversion.
And in a game you win by 3 points, those 3 points mattered.
Yeah, it was still critical points, and again, leaving them with no time was still a big deal, but would have, in hindsight, I wish I would have gone to a different personnel grouping on that 4th and 1 so that we could get to a faster pass play on the next play, but lesson learned for all of us.
Great explanation. Your thoughts leading at the break 10-7 in this game on Saturday night?
I felt like there weren't a lot of points on the board, but the most important thing was to take care of the football. And it felt like we were being physical. It felt like even though we hadn't done a lot yet, it felt like we were in a good position to win the game in the second half. And I wasn't surprised it was a close game. I mean, it's just because
it always is.
It always is.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep your poise and just keep executing one play at a time.
Welcome back to the Coordinator's Corner, joined this half hour by BYU offensive coordinator and QB coach Aaron Roderick as we cap off our recap of Saturday night's 24-21 win over Utah. 3rd straight win for the Cougs over the Utes in the rivalry series. Let's pick up and wrap up our recap with a closer look at the second half with BYU leading 10-7 at halftime. Under Kalani, BYU is now 58-7 with a halftime lead, including a 36-1 record at home. Another one of those you'll just take and run with.
Pretty good. Can't explain it, but that's pretty good.
Your first play of the second half, almost a big play to Parker Kingston. He would go on to make big plays the rest of the way, but I'm talking about it with his post game. He's like,
Yeah. Parker's doing a great job for us and just didn't connect on that one, but it was the play was there. We had a good shot at an explosive, and that was the one possession of the game that ended up. I was pretty disappointed in that possession because we didn't hit this play, and then we had 2 bad plays after that and punted 3 and out. That was our one really disappointing possession of the game.
Really love how Bear's putting it on the money, though.
Yeah, he made a good throw. It was well protected, and the route concept worked against what they were doing. did a little switch release to help get open versus man coverage, and just didn't connect.
We would see much more from Parker Kingston, though. No worries. Scoreless first quarter, scoreless third quarter. We go to the fourth quarter. BYU's up 10-7 still. Very dramatic final 15 minutes. Utah took a lead early in the fourth. So now it's 14-10 Utes. But your response was immediate. The fact the Utah lead was very brief, I thought, was pretty important.
Yeah, our players answered the bell for sure there. We had that third quarter was tough sledding, but interestingly, sometimes when it's hard like that, you do find some answers, though. You start seeing, okay, here's what they're doing to take away some things. And I felt like we were putting together a good next couple drives. Like we put together a pretty good list of things we could do in that fourth quarter. And I thought the adjustments by our coaching staff with ideas of how to finish the game in the fourth quarter were outstanding.
Right after the Utah touchdown, you would need only 5 plays, less than 3 minutes to go 81 yards for the score that puts BYU in front for good. Let's look at some of the big plays in this drive that put you back in front. And the fact that it came right away was huge for you guys.
Yeah, and like I said, most of those plays were we scripted those while the defense was on the field, and it was after learning some tough lessons in that third quarter. Starting with this first play, they were mesh charging us so hard. We had Bear pull the ball and get to the end zone, or get to the outside.
There's Parker.
Yep, and then we had a couple good play action passes here where we got the ball thrown down the field in play action, and then
this play.
Yeah, of course, this was.
How tough is Bear?
This was a big play first of all to get rid of that ball, and then the hit. That was, gave us some extra yards, and then the jet sweep here was very well executed. We had some really important blocks there, a crack block by Chase Roberts, and then 2 really good blocks by Waylon Lapuaho and Isaiah Jada.
I think that's now 4 TDs in the last 3 games for Parker Kingston.
Yeah, he's playing very well, and he's explosive. I think people underestimate how fast he is, and I don't know why they do, because it's on film, but it keeps happening, and he's a really good football player.
So you're back in front now, and you got right back on the field on offense, courtesy of a Tanner Wall interception. And the back-breaking TD, in a way, would follow. And this drive was a lot of LJ and a lot of Bear. It would end with Bear. We'll see that. But those 2 guys really carried you on this next drive.
Correct. A huge interception by Tanner Wall. That was awesome. And then this was the drive, too, where we really wanted to impose our will physically. We wanted to eat some clock and be physical, and then a couple of key completions there too. That one to Carson there on third down was big, and I just thought, if we can just impose our will on this drive and eat up some clock, we'll go down and win this game. And then this was just an unbelievable play by Bear. We finished with all 11 guys in the end zone right here. That's pretty fun.
It is very fun. I know, you're not the loudest guy in the coach's booth, but I guess the volume level was kind of going up and up as Bear was getting closer to the goal line there.
That was an exciting play for sure. And the play with design was executed pretty well, but there's that extra element there where he just wills his way into the end zone. Getting the first down is one thing, but turning it into a touchdown was just an unbelievable play.
It was a 3rd and 11.
Yes, 3rd and 11. We wanted to be smart there. I didn't want to risk turning the ball over or a sack going backwards, making a field goal attempt longer or anything like that. So we're trying to play it smart with the QB run, and then very well executed by everyone.
It's obvious, as visible as the O-line was there at the end of the play, but beyond that one play or even this one game, the BYU offensive line deserves some massive credit for the 7-0 start.
Yeah, they do, and we're rotating 7 guys, so that's been hats off to those guys. We're playing with 7 guys rotating in there. Coach Woods is doing a great job coaching them, and he does a great job scheming up our run game and pass protections, and just it's just fun to go to work every day with those guys. I
think BYU's ranked 15th right now in sacks allowed, and with a young quarterback learning the ropes, keeping him upright is pretty helpful.
Yeah, we're doing a solid job there. We don't want to give up any sacks, but there was actually one sack the other night that no one will ever notice, but Bear did a great job by actually taking a sack. Like they kind of tricked us, had a coverage we weren't expecting on a 3rd down pass. It was in the first quarter, and Bear just held on to the ball. It was a coverage sack. Our O-line, it wasn't the O-line's fault, but just preserving our right to punt right there instead of throwing a ball into a coverage that we weren't expecting that could get tipped or get intercepted. That's one small play that isn't on the stat sheet, in a positive way. It's not, no one in the stands notices it, but it was a veteran play by Bear just to hang on to the football and like I said, punt the ball and get another chance on the next possession.
So the Bear touchdown we just saw, and great point, the Bear touchdown we just saw put you up 24-14. Utah turns it over on downs. You get the ball back. You're in scoring territory. You're at the Utah 23, a few different options on a fourth down play here. Kalani said he was basically hoping to end the game with a touchdown for a 3-score lead.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You know, sounds crazy, but the analytics say to go for it here. And I was kind of surprised by that. Usually, you know, I think Kalani after the game said the analytics said not to, but I think they did say go. There was some confusion, but
yeah, because it felt like he was telling us he was kind of going against the grain on this one.
Anyway, bottom line is
it was 4th and 6.
If we score, or if we get a first down, it's game over. Right? If we kick a field goal here, and you have a chance to end the game if you make it. But it's not always a gimme. Even though Will's a great kicker, it's not always a gimme because they'd gotten pressure on some kicks. They're very good at blocking field goals. They're one of the best teams in the country at blocking field goals. So we didn't want to risk a scoop and score type of situation. And so it was. This
is all going into the conversation.
Ultimately, it's Kalani's call, and he said, "Hey, let's just take a shot at the end zone, give Chase a shot, and they still have to score twice on us with this much time left. We're gonna win this game." And so. That's his call. That's why he makes the big bucks, and I just do what I'm told.
Utah did score a TD on the ensuing drive, but the illegal touching on the onside kick, so you go into victory formation. No better feeling than ending that kind of game in victory formation.
It is, and it was a little scary on that onside kick, but and rewinding back, that had we kicked the field goal, we'd be up 13, so they have to get 2 touchdowns, but 2 touchdowns beats you anyway. So anyway, it was a great feeling to end the game in victory. It was a great feeling to run the ball the way we did in that fourth quarter. I was really proud of our guys. I thought we ended the game, imposing our will on a really good team.
Because you're in the booth, you don't have to worry about navigating that crowd to get to the locker room.
Yeah, well, I did though. Once I got down, I was just trying to get to our locker room, and it took me a while. I finally had to ask one of the police officers to help me get through.
Oh wow!
It was a mess, but it was a good mess.
Just another BYU Utah game, Coach. 21 now. The last 25 are single-digit margins.
Yeah, it's just how it is, and it's great to be a part of it. Really fun.
Offensive players of the game for you. Who'd you like?
Bear and LJ. I mean, we could have said the offensive line again. They played well. Just thought, Bear, just made some plays where, he is finding ways to make big plays. Sometimes, when there's nothing there, he'll find a way to make a play. And then I thought LJ just gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on. You don't see very many 100-yard rushers against the Utes, and he's, I think it's the 4th time in 6 years or something like that. 4th most yards in 6 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, proud of him.
He's a top 10 rusher nationally. He's in Big 12 games, 2nd in the league as well, having an outstanding season. And BYU has now won 3 in a row over the Utes. You're in the Coordinator's Corner, brought to you by JCW's The Burger Boys. Wrapping up today's show as we visit with BYU OC Aaron Roderick in our final segment. Coming up this Saturday in Ames, Iowa, BYU's first matinee football game of the season. 2:30 Central Time, 1:30 Mountain Time kick for BYU and the Cyclones. Let's talk a bit about this Iowa State team that comes in at 5-2 on the season, 2-2 in the Big 12. You got an early look. Any sense here, Coach?
Yeah, very good team. Big 12 championship game last year. They played in that game. Very good defensive team. The D coordinator is somebody I have a lot of respect for. Don't know him personally, but they've been playing very good defense for about 10 years or more there. He's an outstanding coordinator with a unique scheme, and at home, I know they're really tough to beat there, and we're expecting to get their very best.
Everyone talks about how great BYU is at night, and it's true. The Cougs win all these night games, but you did win 3 day games last year as well. When they handed them to you, you can win those too. So it's not like you're a one-trick pony. It is different, though. We're finally seeing a sunshine game for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, and we're excited to play in the daytime. I mean, those night games are great. We love the night games. But going on the road to play at 1 o'clock and know that you're not going to get home at 5 in the morning, that's nice. And I'm looking forward to a day game. LaVell Edwards Stadium is the biggest stadium capacity-wise in the Big 12, but Iowa State Jack Trice Stadium is number 2, so the 2nd largest stadium. Yeah, it's a tough place to play. I've been there before when I coached at Utah. I played there once, and their fans they love their team, and they they're great fans. It's going to be an electric environment.
Let's bring up the Big 12 standings, as there are only 2 undefeated teams left in the conference right now. The only undefeated team overall, of course, in the Big 12 is BYU at 7-0. But it's BYU and Cincinnati are the 2 4-0 teams atop the league right now.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised about Cincinnati, by the way. That quarterback is a good player, and even though they were a little down last year, we watched him on film all year long. We knew how good he is, and I think Coach Satterfield's an excellent coach. They're doing a nice job, but this thing's still wide open. It's all about just winning the next game. I mean, there's so much football ahead. There's so much parity. All we're thinking about is Iowa State. Just win this game. That's it. And if any team that's thinking beyond anything other than their next game is going to probably stumble.
It's great to be in the mix for some pretty important things right now.
Yeah, we're great. We're excited to be where we are, but we know that there's a lot of football ahead, and the only thing you can think about is just beating Iowa State, and they are a very good football team.
Coach, good luck in the prep for the Cyclones, and we'll see you in Ames on the weekend.
Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for Week 8 of the Coordinator's Corner. For Coaches Hill and Roderick and our entire excellent crew, my name is Greg Wrubell. We'll see you next Monday on this show. Until then, go Cougs.